how I treat my mother now is a direct reflection of how she treated me when I needed her when I was a kid. Having said that, how my children treat me now is a direct reflection of how I treated them when they were younger and needed me. This is very hard for parents to come to terms with.
Yep.
They don't. I think a lot of parents go, that's not true. This is where the disconnect comes. I loved my kids. I gave them everything. You gave them everything that you thought they needed. But did you give them everything that they needed from their perspective? And
Children treat their parents how they were treated when they needed them. Of course, people do say this all the time, and they say the children always remember how you treated them, where you took them to, how you played with them, the stories you read to them, all the toys you buy for your kids, all the lovely presents you buy. They don't remember those things when they grow up. The only thing they remember is how you treated them, how kind you were to them, how the morals you taught them, the values you taught them, and how you exhibited these values and morals in your own life.
You, when they no longer need food and shelter, is a direct reflection.
go back and watch the video. It's very interesting. But yes, how I treat my mother now is a direct reflection of how she treated me when I needed her when I was a kid. Having said that, how my children treat me now is a direct reflection of how I treated them when they were younger and needed me. This is very hard for parents to come to terms with.
Yep.
They don't. I think a lot of parents go, that's not true. This is where the disconnect comes. I loved my kids. I gave them everything. You gave them everything that you thought they needed. But did you give them everything that they needed from their perspective? And I know that I didn't do that all the time with my kids. I tried to, at times I really did try to, but I hadn't healed my trauma. And so anytime I was triggered, I wasn't able to be there for my kids. I wasn't able to be present for them. When things were going smoothly, I was good. I was there. I was present. But as soon as something triggered me, poof, I was in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I was in survival mode and I could not be present for my kids. Couldn't. And so as my kids grew up and they started to distance themselves from me, I kind of went, what's going on here? What's happening here? And I looked at myself. And now that I'm looking back on my children's childhood, I'm recognizing some stuff that I really missed the mark on. And it's not up to my children to tell me where I missed the mark. A lot of parents will be like, well, my kids won't tell me what I did wrong. That's not their job. I was supposed to know what to do as a parent. I was supposed to know that stuff. That's why we shouldn't be having kids until we know this stuff and we've healed our trauma. God, I wish I would have knew that.
Yeah.
I want to add here that it is common knowledge that parenting doesn't come with a guide, like a book. You don't get like pre-knowledge before you start parenting. You learn how to parent as you nurture your child. So it's okay to realize that there's some things that you missed while you were raising your child. But blaming yourself, gaslighting yourself is unacceptable. Yeah, the best thing to do is to give your child the best that you can at your own capacity. But trying to say that people shouldn't really give birth to kids until they know what it's meant to be a parent, I'll say no, because almost every parent, the parents back in the day, nowadays, parents who are going to be parents in the future, no one really has that guide, that book. Of course, people've got their experience, but kids are different. People are different. People come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different race. People raise their kids differently. People got different values, different belief system. You know, I can go on and on and on, but one thing is certain. There is no guide. There is no fast or hard rule. You just need to nurture your child, give your child all the best that you can give, and put the rest in the hands of God. because you can spend so much, you can give your child everything, and they turn out to be the opposite of what you envisaged that they were going to be.
You when they no longer need food and shelter is a direct reflection of how you make.
Something that I find really interesting about this video and that phrase, the quote that that the person was talking about, is how a lot of the times, especially in African households, in my African household in particular, there's this huge emphasis on forgiveness and letting things go and not allowing the past to negate the future. And I think about it and I ruminate on it a lot, because some parts of what my mom is saying is absolutely correct. But there's something about the way that she says this that makes it feel off and sit wrongly in my spirit. And I'm realizing it's because she's aware. A lot of parents are aware of the fact of how they mistreated their children
Yeah.
and the amount of things and the amount of shame that they feel
Yeah.
for, in some cases, choosing their partners over their kids, choosing work over their kids, or prioritizing themselves and their needs over their children, all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? But rather than taking the necessary steps as adults to make their present life different and show their children true remorse and repentance, because that's the word that Christians love, they'd rather shame you into forgiving them
Yeah.
so that they don't have to do any work or change who they are. And to be honest, it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Because children, I feel like, are the most forgiven people.
Yeah.
Your child is going to be the most forgiving person towards you. Because for a very long time, you were all that they needed.
Yeah.
Why can't you have that compassion and that empathy and that care to change, to be better, to do better by your children? But that's just something I've been thinking about.
Yeah, African parents, as she rightly said, are so difficult. I was raised by my parents, and they are Africans, like hardcore African, traditional Africans. Generally, Africans have this connection. I think parenting and Christianity and religion are intertwined. Every time a child does something or they try to reprimand the child, they'll always say, honor your mother and your father so that your days will be longer on earth. And this goes just for the child. And the parents never, ever take responsibility for their action. They are never accountable. Sometimes a child will do something that is just something that is normal, but an African parent is going to blow that out of proportion, just because they're African, just because they know that, okay, this kid doesn't have to do this because I'm the parent. And when you ask, like, why did you do this? Why did you do it this way? Why did you address it this way? They'll say, no, I'm the parent, I'm responsible. My child can never do this. My child will never do this over my dead body. My child will never do this. They don't want to listen. They just believe that what is said in the Bible, that's how everything has to be. But they don't know that in some cases, they are the problem. Like she rightly mentioned, most of the African parents in the diaspora, some of them, they are just after their jobs. They don't really care about being there for their kids, like going for their hobbies or taking their kids out for recreation and leisure. It's all about going after job. They can do 3-4 jobs, and they keep their kids with the neighbors, or they keep their kids in extended care, like 24 hours care. They prefer to pay for care than to be there for their kids. And I ever, like, as a parent, as an African parent, and as someone who wants to influence my community, I always talk when I'm with my friends in the diaspora who are Africans. I always talk to them. I tell them that, but why do you do this? Why do you prefer to pay so much money for someone to take care of your kid, and you go out to work extra hours than to be with your kid? Whereas, when you do these extra hours, you end up paying so much tax. So everything you're working is going back into the system. So you're helping the system, of course, but you're not helping your kids. You're not there for your kids. You're always out there working, and the kids don't have that comfort and love and warmth from a parent, especially from their mother. And this is something that kids really do want and they love. But when the kid try to tell you that, Mom, I want you to be with me, I want you to take me to this so and so place, I want to go here, I want to do this, I want to do, you always tell them, no, I'm so tired, I'll have to go to work, I have to do this, it's all about you. So the kid is saying that, okay, kids are the most forgiving people on earth, on the planet. They are so easy to forgive, especially their parents, because they know that they've been with their parents for as long as ever. I mean, they were born and they were nurtured by their parents. But when the neglect sets in, these kids will notice it and they will react to it. But as an African parent, they will always try to brush it under the rug. Like, okay, you don't have to complain. I'm your mom. You need to listen to me and all that. Yes, she is spot on when it comes to African parents. And this is just, my example is just the diaspora, not to talk of the ones back home, like in Ground Zero in Africa. I mean, how dare you call your parents out? How dare you tell your parent that you don't like what they did or that or this? Hell, it's going to break loose.
Agree or disagree? How your kids treat you when they know
100%. 100% agree. 100% agree. 100%. Because when I realized who my parents were as adults, I said, would I befriend you if we were, especially on my mom's side, would I befriend you if we were adults in the street? Like, if I didn't know you, would I befriend you? The answer was no. And I said that's about the same creator when Shalone was talking about Monique, when he realized who his mother was as an adult, no longer needing food and shelter. He said, nah, ain't it. But most of us don't have parents who have the courage to even care about that.
Agree or disagree? How your kids treat you when they know.
I would definitely have to disagree. And I feel like this is culture based. I'm not going to put my mom on the spot, but let's just say we never had the best relationship as I was growing up. But it wasn't all her. I was also a very rebellious child and a very mean teenager. But one thing I will say is that I don't care how old I get. I don't care how my mom treated me in the past or my dad treated me in the past. I will always be there for them to help them and support them. If I can help my parents out financially, I will help them. I don't speak to my parents every day, but I do call them, even if it's just to say hello and to see how they're doing. So no, I don't agree with this.
Them feel when they needed you to serve.
Yeah, she's right. She's so right, because it's culture based. Like I said, those kids, I mean, the African kids I've seen, the black kids I've seen in this video are typical of diaspora kids. But kids who are based in Ground Zero in Africa, like real for real, will not talk about their parents in this manner, because it seems to be like it's something that's general. Like if you see one parent doing it, you see your neighbor doing it, you see your auntie doing it, you see your uncle doing the same thing, it turns out to be something that is normal. You don't see it as a problem. You only see it as a problem when you listen to people like this talking about it as a problem. Because most of, like, there is this common saying, African proverb, that a child is born just to their parents, but they are raised by... A child is born just to their parents, but they are raised by the community. It takes a community to raise a child. That's the proverb. It takes a community to raise a child, while because most of the time parents are all out there hustling. Most of them go to their jobs, some of them go to the market, some go to the farm. This is Africa I'm talking about. And what happens? The neighbors, the aunties, those who are around the compound, the community, those are the people that take care of the kids who are left behind by their parents who have gone out to hustle. So it's kind of a community, and they take full responsibility for every kid that they see in the community. They don't have this idea of that this kid is not mine, I don't need to do this for them or that. They take every kid as theirs. I will use myself as an example. When I was growing up, we were living in a community where we had like 5 neighbors, and all these 5 neighbors, we were so united that we even saw ourselves as siblings. When one parent is out hustling or gone to a job, another parent is the one who is making food and sharing to all the kids. We will sit around her fireplace, and she'll put our plates around the fireplace and put food on every plate. No matter how small the food is, she'll make sure the food is shared to everyone and will get equal and good portion. And we'll eat, we'll be so happy, we'll be full, and she'll make sure she takes care of us before our parents come back. And it happens the same. When she's out, my mom will do the same for her own kids and all the other neighbors as well. So this is something like, it's culture based. And when we grow up, we don't sit and think that, oh, my parent wasn't really there for me all the time. It was my neighbor who took care of me, No. When we grow up, when we go back to our community, we see all our community members, all our community mommies and daddies as our own mommies and daddies, and we treat them like as if they are our mommies and daddies. So most of the time, I see the complaints about parenting, how kids will grow up and they'll treat their parents how they treated them, from mostly people in the diaspora, Black kids who were born and raised in the diaspora. So she is so right. It is mostly culture based.
Survive. I got that passage from.
That is 100% accurate, and that's coming from like the daughter who I went through the phase of, I hate my mother, she's making me do this, that, and the third, and honestly, she only wanted the best for me. And I grew up around kids with strict parents. Don't get me wrong, my mother wasn't laissez-faire, like, she still was strict, but, like, it wasn't as bad as I had thought it was back in the day. I got my license at a young age. I learned how to work at a young age. I learned how to do my taxes at a young age. I learned how to take care of stuff way before I came to an adult world. And even the things I quote-unquote didn't know about, I was warned about. My mother let me know everything about the real world in real life. Young age, everybody not your friend. Young age, boys are going to do what they need to do to get in your pants. Young age, even when I told her I liked girls. Girls are going to do what they want to do to get into your pants. Like, you need to know these life lessons. My mother didn't sugarcoat anything for me when it came to survival tactics. It wasn't just about, okay, you got food, you got clothes. My mom is 16. Okay, you providing for yourself. Let me teach you all these life lessons. I learned how to drive a stick at 15 years old. Like, my mother made sure I was at least decently okay for the real world. I'm not gonna lie. The strictness definitely put me in a situation where I wanted to be the coolest person ever. And I still ended up not doing half the shit that y'all did. But that is because my mother taught me about the real world. She let me know. Hey, just because somebody does the same things as you doesn't mean they're your friend. It just means that you got a drinking buddy. And that ain't gonna be your friend forever. And that's not gonna be the man you marry. And that girl don't even like you. And as a kid, I was so caught up on, oh, I had to do my homework. Oh, I gotta drive my brother's places. I gotta go do things. But it's like, I know how to get around my city. I did all my homework and I went to college for free. I'd like all of those things that my mom set me up for. If I need a job tomorrow, I can get a job tomorrow. She set me up for that, for me to be successful in this world. So I love my mom. I love my mother so much. And it's truly, I just want somebody to see the good side of this. Because I've seen a lot of bad reviews where it's like, yeah, and that's why I hate my mother. And I understand that because y'all had completely different lifestyles. But I just want to say, as somebody who used to say I hate my mother, like, she really prepared me for this life shit and educating myself on stuff. So, like, I'm very grateful for her in my life.
Agree or disagree? How your kids treat you when they know.
This is very important, and I don't think enough people talk about it. Do you feel like the way your kids treat you are a reflection of how you treat them. Yes or no? I 100% agree. I'm speaking from my personal experience. If you do not have a solid foundation, your empire will crumble. I have 3 children, 14, 10, and 5, and I do nothing more but be a mom. It's like my only goal. Everything else is extra because, hold on. They need me to survive. They need my guidance. They need my love. They need my nurturing. They need me. They need all of me, just not a little piece of me, and they do not need the hurt and broken part of me. So it was my job to heal as a person and as a mother. And coming from someone who grew up with no parents, that was hard. At first, it was hard because there was no guidance. You know, all I knew was what I seen and what I had been taught. But I also knew that I didn't like that. So I did something different. And I'm still healing. Like, don't get it. I'm still on my healing journey. It's just amazing that I get to take my kids on my journey with me. And none of us have to heal by ourselves. It's important to have conversations with your children. It's important to know their mental. It's important to know how they feel when they wake up in the morning. And it's also important to know what kind of mind state they in before they go to sleep. Being a parent is so much more than just feeding, housing, and clothing.
I agree.
Like, man, that's not enough. Because when you get older, like they need you to survive right now, you have to realize if you make it that old, you're going to need somebody help to survive also. And we're not talking about just like a partner. We're talking about your children. You're going to need, just like they needed they butts wiped at a point in time, you may be in that situation where you need that too. The last thing you want to do is get to that old age and realize that you have nobody. Because you never did the work. You kept ignoring when they would try to talk to you and try to tell you how you could be better and what you didn't do. You didn't want to hear that. It was just, I did everything that I could do, and I gave you everything, and I made sure that you ate and had clothes, and you never asked me how I felt. Boop. How my day was. You knew I was hungry, so I just had to eat whatever you felt like giving me. Like, it was never could have an opinion. Ooh. Oh my God. Hell would freeze if you was to have an opinion. And it's just sad that nobody ever like gave them the fundamentals that they needed. Because a lot of these older folks are just doing what their parents did to them. Was house them, feed them, clothe them. Mm-hmm. That was love to them. Yep. And for us millennials, that's just not good enough anymore. We need more. We deserve more. And yeah, I am in the business of breaking all of my generational curses. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sucks because my mom isn't here. She died in 2017, but to give a little backstory on that, my mom was a chronic alcoholic, heroin and crack cocaine addict. So mentally, she was never there. Like, physically, she was never there. So it kind of sucks that, well, I guess it really don't suck because, well, I guess, I don't know. When I think about that, it's just kind of like, But I really just say all of this to say, because I feel like I'm all over the place. I should have, like, wrote my thoughts down before I got on here and started rambling. I really just say all of this to say, heal yourself. Young people, older people, whoever looking at this, heal yourself so you could be a better person.
Yep.
And you can grow to be a better person. And you could be a better person for the people that's around you. Because you never know who you may need. And it's one thing about them tables, baby, they turn. You would be thinking 1 minute, like, oh, I'd never be in that situation, you know, and then you be in that situation. So, and I'm actually in this situation with my grandmother right now, and it's so hard to be there for her. Like, I know I love her, and I know that she loves me, but she missed it. at her old age, I don't think she's even trying to get it. So, yeah. Like, how do you expect for me? I'm not even going to say expect for me to be there, because she doesn't expect for me to be there like no one else is. I'm just here. When you know that you didn't, you know you wasn't there for me. I was living my life with somebody else. You did what was best for you. And now you need help. Ain't that something? So heal yourself. Whatever hurt, anger, madness, which is all really the same thing. The anger and the madness is only stemming from the hurt. Let the anger and the madness go and focus just on why you feel hurt. I don't care how far back in time you have to go, baby. Go. So you have to start. You have to start the process. And it's not going to be an easy process, but it's going to be a process that'll be so worth it. So worth it. It's going to make you a better person, and it's going to make everybody around you feel better. Because now you're just dripping love. And I drip love. So when it comes to her, I'll be like, why don't I want to love you? And it makes sense because, girl, you didn't make me feel like you loved me. Okay, we can start there. We ain't gonna start there, but yeah, you know. So love yourself. You deserve to be a better person. You deserve to let that hurt and that anger go. Love yourself so you can love people properly.
Exactly.
Peace and blessings, guys. And not too much on my nails. I know I need to redo them. Bye, y'all.
If you give love, you get love. If you don't have love, you can't give love. So many people sharing their thoughts about how kids will treat you how you treated them. When your kids grow up, they're going to give you love the same way you gave them love. And some people say it's based on the culture where you come from. Some people say, no, it doesn't matter the culture. It's all about the kid. If they feel that they were loved, they're going to show you love. So guys, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Please feel free to drop your thoughts. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I see so many people watching my videos, but no subscription. Guys, I'm here. I keep coming back here because of your subscription and your support. And also, I want to give a shout out. I got a super thanks from some of my followers. Thank you so much. From some of my subscribers. Thank you so much. Please feel free to support the ministry. The ministry is growing, and you can see, guys. Thank you all. See you all. Bye.